Garib was a gentle dog with kind eyes and a careful way of coming close. Even when he was frightened, he still seemed to look toward people for something soft. Before he was safe, his days were uncertain. He lived in a place where leaving the house could bring punishment. He did not understand the rules around him. He only learned to move carefully and to return even when returning did not feel safe. One evening, Garib appeared outside with an injured face. He ran toward a few people as though he wanted them to notice him. Then, he turned and ran away again. It was late. He seemed caught between needing help and being afraid of it. The people followed from a distance and found the place where he lived. His owner said Garib had been injured for 2 days and that there was no money for treatment. He allowed them to take the dog, but he did not explain what had happened. The next morning, Garib was taken to a veterinary clinic. The first purpose was simple. His wounds needed to be cleaned, his pain needed to be eased. He needed a quiet place where no one would hurt him again. When the fur around his chin and face was carefully shaved, the injuries became clearer. His head was swollen, his eyes were difficult to open, several wounds needed cleaning and stitching. Garib stayed very still while the doctors worked. Eating was difficult at first. Even small movements around his mouth caused discomfort. He rested quietly and watched the people caring for him. Another rescued animal was being treated nearby. It was a small cat found injured among rubbish. The cat stayed closed and motionless. Garib was frightened too, but he kept looking around. He followed voices with his eyes. He seemed to be studying each person who entered the room. He had not stopped being curious about kindness. Later, his former owner admitted that Garib had been punished for leaving the house. After that, there was no question of sending him back. He would remain with the rescuers until his body was stronger and a safe home could be found. The first days passed slowly. His wounds were cleaned. His medicine was given at the same times. Food was softened so he could eat without too much discomfort. After 2 weeks, the swelling had begun to settle. His eyes opened more easily. One eye had been a concern, but there was no serious lasting damage. Then an elderly couple came to meet him. They did not crowd around him. They sat nearby and listened. They spoke in low voices. Garib watched them for a while, calm but careful. Then he raised one paw. It was a small greeting. No one had asked him to do it. He simply reached toward them in the only way he knew. Soon after, Garib went home with the couple. The house was quiet. There were no sudden demands waiting for him. During the first nights, he walked softly from one room to another. His paws made small sounds on the floor as he learned the shape of the home. He rested near corners and doorways. He chose places where he could see the room clearly. He did not hide completely, but he remained careful. The couple gave him space. They placed his bed in a calm part of the house. They kept his food nearby. They spoke before touching him, so he would know they were coming closer. Nothing was rushed. After a few days, Garib began waiting near the doorway when one of them entered. He started finishing more of his food. Sometimes he slept deeply enough that he did not lift his head at every sound. These were small changes. His family still worried about him. His wounds were healing, but they knew fear did not follow the same schedule. They did not expect him to forget. They only continued with the same gentle routine. Food in the morning, rest in the afternoon, a quiet voice, a soft place to sleep. The same kindness, again and again. One day, while the couple sat beside him, Garib lifted his paw once more. He placed it gently into an open hand. It was not a trained command. There was no treat waiting. He simply offered it. After that, the gesture became familiar. When he wanted to be close, he raised his paw. When someone sat beside him, he sometimes placed it on their knee. His fur slowly grew back over the marks on his head. He began following the couple between rooms. He learned where his bed was and when meals would arrive. He learned the soft sound of their footsteps. He also learned that an open door did not always mean trouble. Sometimes it only meant a short walk and a safe return home. Now, Garib's days are steady. He wakes in the same quiet house. He eats without fear. He rests near the people he knows. Sometimes he follows them closely. Sometimes he sleeps alone in his bed. Sometimes he lifts his paw and waits for a hand to meet it. There was no single day when everyone could say he had completely changed. It happened slowly. The clinic became a memory. The swelling disappeared. His steps became less careful. Home became something ordinary. And that may have been the biggest change of all. Trust often returns in small pieces. It needs patience, quiet.